Hi, so I've got into my car to make a very quick video. It's really windy outside, and I wanted to ask you, what do you do to stay sane in this insane world? I'd really like to know, so do let me know in the comments and give me some more ideas. I'm going to tell you what I do, and there's always room for improvement, isn't there, whatever we do to look after our mental health. The first thing that I do to keep myself sane is to go to my yoga class every week. It's one of those things that I've made a non-negotiable, apart from during the summer when I'm in grandma mode full on and I've got some grandchildren in my care on the day of my yoga class. I'm going to have to do it in the evenings and just motivate myself. But I really love going to this particular yoga class. I've been going for years. It's all the same ladies. It's all very safe, wonderful instructor. And when I say safe, I mean it's pelvic floor safe. It's I know that the instructor is not going to ask me to twist myself into the kind of pretzel that's going to do me a damage. And it's a slow flow yoga. So it keeps me strong. I've noticed over the years with the balancing on my hands when I'm doing planks and things like that, my wrists are stronger. The one-legged dogs and all that kind of thing is, well, three-legged dog. You couldn't have a one-legged dog, could you? That would be a fallen over dog. And I've done that before. But all those things are actually building strength. You don't actually have to be working yourself up into a sweat, doing some kind of hot yoga or what have you, to feel the benefits strength-wise. But the biggest benefit, biggest benefits for me, is flexibility. I'm definitely maintaining flexibility far more than I would have done had I not been going to this slow yoga practice. And also for the mental health benefit, because you really can't think about much else when you're listening to someone else's voice instructing you where you're going to put your... It's a little bit like playing that child's game Twister. You know, have you ever seen that, where you spin the arrow and it says right hand to green dot, left foot to yellow dot, you know, and you end up in a knot and the first one who falls over is out. With Becca, I can just focus on the sound of her voice and it stops the loud chatter that's going on in my head, which I find incredibly valuable. That said, once I'm in that relaxed state, actually my brain does work on any kind of issues or problems that I'm trying to work out in a very gentle way. And I often find that I come out of the yoga class and feel as if I've had an epiphany, and which is a very exciting feeling when you're the kind of person that overthinks the way that I do. So I often find solutions in things by stopping thinking. So that's one of the things that is a non-negotiable for me, to keep myself sane in a world that sometimes seems to have lost its mind. The other thing is, and it's kind of linked in a way, is that when I drive home, I very often will drive through the countryside and just avoid the larger roads, which I could go on to get home. And I stop where there's a footpath. So there's the finger posts that say footpath through a farmer's field. And I walk into the landscape. And honestly, the feeling of that is just so grounding and so valuable to me that I've been doing it more and more. In fact, I started a new channel to make myself do it more often. And you might have seen me talk about By Hedgerows and Hills, and I'll put a link in the comments so you can check that out if you like. I actually took the viewers of By Hedgerows and Hills on a walk through the landscape that I've walked through today during the spring when the crops were growing. I've just walked through the same landscape, and I tried to do this video outside, but I haven't got a mic on me and the wind is blowing and it was just going to be horrendous. So I shall probably add a little bit of that video because I just wanted to show you how beautiful it is. Now they've taken all the crop away, obviously, and it's all been reduced to stubble, and you know, they've made hay, and I think it's hay. I'm not a farmer's daughter, or I didn't grow up in the countryside. I think they've made hay from it. And they've dumped these big piles of lime as well, and I understand that they're going to be spreading that on the fields ready for sowing crop for next year. It's just so beautiful. It connects me to what's real, because it doesn't matter what's going on across the Atlantic or in the Middle East or any of the things that can cause us to lose sleep and, yeah, you know what I mean. It connects us to something that's timeless and reminds us that we are part of nature and we're part of this landscape, and hopefully we will endure as this landscape has. But if we don't, this land hopefully will continue beyond us. I know we're doing our best to destroy it, but I don't want to bring that note of negativity into this into this little video. So the other things that help to keep me sane are to try and keep to a regular sleep cycle. So I wind down from 11 o'clock and I try to be in bed by 11:30. My husband's watching this, he'll go, yeah, right. If I pick up my phone and start scrolling, it could be 2 o'clock before I go to bed. But I definitely feel better when I'm asleep by midnight. And I had this the watch for my birthday recently, and it's tracking my sleep cycles, and it's interesting to see just how you go into a deep sleep when you first go to sleep, and actually that seems to be about midnight. I'm in a deep sleep. The deep sleep is when your body restores and repairs itself, and then I try and get up between 7:30 and 8. That seems to suit me well. After that, when I make my morning cup of tea, I go out into the garden and I sit in the sunshine. No sun cream or what have you, just for a little while. Try to do it without sunglasses as well, to get the light into my eyes, to reset my circadian rhythm so that I can rest well when I go to bed that night as well. And just sitting there, listening to the birds. I've got a garden full of birds. There are birds' nests in my overgrown bushes, and I listen to the birds. And you might remember I did a video about how good for us birdsong is. I'll put a link to that. I'll try and do it sort of here. See if I can get that right this time. And also I've got this huge overgrown buddleia, and at the moment it's covered, it's just alive with butterflies. And we haven't been seeing many butterflies this year. Butterflies and bees on this beautiful massive plant. And a couple of times, I wasn't well last week and I made myself stop and slow myself right down. And a few times we've had a heat wave here in the UK, and I sat in the garden in the shade and just watched the butterflies on the buddleia, and I felt that calm come over me. So those are just a few things that keep me sane in an insane world, and I'd love to know what you would add to that list to help all of us to reset our nervous systems so that we're not constantly in that fight or flight mode, which makes us of no use to anybody. I didn't realise how busy this road was. It's a tiny country road. Just let me know in the comments, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now. If you're new to this channel, then welcome. My name's Jo Blackwell. I'm the host of the Midlife and Beyond podcast with Jo Blackwell and this YouTube channel, the same name. This is where we start to look at ageing differently so that we can be happier as we get older.